So you've come to a time in your life where you have the choice between going back to the past self, the past habits, the past people, the past addictions, the past whatever it is that it's kind of been holding you, harboring you to this old lifestyle that you've been involved in for quite some time. And you may have made a lot of changes, you may have had a lot of improvements in your life, but there's something that you know what it is that you haven't released, you haven't gotten past. And this thing that you're still holding on to is what's keeping you from experiencing the next phase of your journey, the next phase of your life. All of the blessings, all of the gifts, all of the growth that you really want to have in this vision of your most empowered life is being held back. Not because it isn't yours, it isn't rightfully yours, it is something that you're able to receive and experience and have. But it requires you to let go fully of this thing that you're still holding on to, because the thing is that one thing that you're trying to bring on to this next part of your life, it's not congruent with that renewed version of yourself. There's something about this version of yourself that is empowered, that isn't held back by these addictions or by these people or by this habit or by this situation. And that's why you're not able to experience the next phase. It's not as difficult to release this as you may think. And there's a lot of changes that are going to come as a result of you finally surrendering this one thing. What I'm hearing is like giving up this one thing to have the whole. It's like the amount of prosperity that is on its way to you. I mean, it's at the door. It's been knocking for a minute now, to be honest. You have to open the door, but the thing is that when you open the door and you step through, the door's going to be closed. And when the door's closed, you're not going to be able to come back through. And if you do, then you forfeit all of the blessings, all of the gifts, all of the sovereignty that you have. Sovereignty. So this thing is something that is robbing you of your sovereignty at this time. This could be a relationship, a specific person in your life, whether that be on an intimate level or like a friendship or a relationship with some type of family member or guardian or some other, like an employer, for instance. But there is some kind of relationship for some of you. And that's the thing that you need to let go. For others of you, it's some type of eating habits, some kind of food consumption, some kind of consumption. This could be consumption of food. This could be consumption of people. This could be consumption of substances. Yeah, alcohol, drinking, other kind of drugs. There's this thing that is preventing you, consuming. And you could be living in a consumerist society where consumption is a primary pursuit of many individuals, consuming content, consuming different commodities, consuming different foods or substances, consuming a life of consumption, taking in. And the thing is that the amount of consumption has caused this growth within your body, a growth within your spirit, a growth within your consciousness that is, in a sense, not serving of you. It doesn't help you out. It doesn't bring true prosperity to you. It could be a comfort. It could be almost like a numbing. It could be something where there is a type of, to be honest, it's almost like I see like an infection which needs antibiotics, but instead of using antibiotics to clear up the infection, or like a wound on your external body, you just put a band-aid over it to make it look pretty, but the infection is still underneath. And this infection could be something that you were taught, it was passed down to you through those who raised you, or the friends you're around, the people you're around. You'll come to know that if this is a friend group that are participating in a certain habit or behavior or mindset, once you remove yourself from this association that you have to this specific thing, once you surrender to actually allowing yourself to have a life where you are healed, you are healthy, you are in a state of receiving a very beautiful experience in your life, you'll find that your friends will change, your habits will change, your behaviors will change, your mindset will change. You will begin to seek out things that are actually empower you, strengthen you, encourage you. You'll have different forms of relating to the world, even things that once maybe caused you a sense of hardship. The way you looked at some circumstances in your life, you saw through a lens of hardship, or through a lens of sacrifice or suffering, or through a lens of difficulties. You'll look at the same situations, the same problems that you had, and you'll see that these are actually opportunities for you to practice a renewed state of yourself. Someone who's empowered, someone who's positive, someone who is actually looking to grow through that onto the next thing. Because whenever you begin to change your life, temporarily, you'll still be in the life that you currently had resided in. The same people, same job, same dynamics. But as you make that shift, whether that's a profound shift or a subtle shift, whether it happens loudly or quietly within you, that shift, once that surrender is made, the process has begun. And you won't be able to remain in those circumstances for very long. Now, depending on what you are to pursue, what you are aiming for, is going to determine the direction you go, how long it will take you to get there, how far you want to stretch. You can have small goals along the way. It's the journey. We're actually looking for the journey, not the destination. The destination, if we had the destination now, without the journey, the appreciation, the respect, the admiration, the gratitude that we should experience for the obtaining of that thing, it would be lost on us. If we're just given everything without actually taking the action, repetitive action, consistent action, over and over and over again to reaffirm who we've become. If we're just given things, then we can become entitled to feeling that this is what we deserve. But without the action, we don't truly deserve it. Because deservability is something that is based off of action, off of merit, off of consistency, showing up in the world continually, again and again and again and again and again. Where you are the embodiment of a specific person who can not just receive this thing, but maintain this thing. Maintain this responsibility in your life that comes from becoming this new embodied version of yourself. And that's what's astounding, because this is not about the destination, what you acquire along the way, whether it be relationships or finances or better health, a renewed state of mind, different belief systems. But it's who you've become in the process of that journey. That is a true gift. That's a true gift. And you'll start to see as you let go of this thing, whatever it is, and you begin to start seeing yourself as someone who is seeking empowerment, who's able to experience a life that adds value back to the world. Because whatever we're seeking in life, and what is very important is knowing that we have to have a goal first off. Because if we're shooting darts at a target, but we don't know what the target is, then we're not going to be able to hit the target. We have to have a target to hit. We can't just toss darts in the dark and hope we hit the target if we don't even know what the target is. So we got to have a clear idea of what this thing is. If it's a specific material thing, like a car or a house or a new city that you live in, a new occupation, a new relationship, whatever this thing is, a material manifestation of this, we have to have a clear idea of what that thing is and what are the characteristics of that. For instance, if it's a relationship, you can't just be like, I want to get into a relationship, but you don't have the qualities of the person that you would like to have in that relationship. How are they? How do they show up? How do they show up for themselves? How do they show up for you? How do they show up for the world around them? We have to be very specific about what it is that we're seeking, because that way we can come across opportunities, or we can come across things that will show up into our life but aren't actually the genuine picture of what it is that we're looking for. We need to know exactly what it is, the qualities that this thing has. Or if it's like, for instance, a specific home. What kind of home do you want to live in? Like, actually want to live in, not what you think you can afford, not what you think you're worth, not what you think that is reasonable, but like thinking like, what actually is it that you would want? And then everything else is being able to not settle for anything less. Not being able to settle for anything less. Again, along the way, you can have different renditions of that. Maybe you go out, if it's a relationship, you go on a couple of dates, you meet a couple of people, and you know a specific list of characteristics that you want this person that you want to have into your life. What do they, like, how do they dress? How do they talk? How do they show up in the world? What are their belief systems? What are their financial goals? What are their material goals? What are their interpersonal goals? What are their motivations? What are their ambitions? What is the energy that they have as an individual? And then as you go along and you date different people, it's being able to see, like, do the people that you began dating actually match up with that version of that person? And if they don't, it's being able to kind of like realize it and recognize it right off the bat, and not spending your time, more time that is needed, in participating in relationships that aren't your actually ideal relationship. Or if it's a job, if you're looking for a job with specific type of opportunities that are within it, opportunities for growth, for instance. If you go and you start applying for jobs and you go to the interviews and you realize like these jobs don't have the opportunity for growth that you're seeking, you can't actually see yourself working in that workplace. Maybe the type of people that are there. Have a clear goal. Like, what kind of people do you want to work around? How are the employees for this workplace? How are they to each other? How are they to themselves? How are they to you? What are the dynamics in that workplace? Is it positive? Is it uplifting? Is it inspiring? Is it something where you're filled with excitement and passion to be there? Or are you surrounded by people who are negative and pessimistic and filled with their own dramas? And if you go out there and you apply for a job and you get to know certain people, the managers, the employees there, and you feel the energy that isn't in resonance with the type of workplace you want to work at, then you don't accept the job. You go find another job, right? You have to be very clear on the type of job that you want. Be very clear at that. God's going to give you whatever it is that you want, whatever you're asking for. And it may take a little bit of time for you to see the different options out there to line up with the proper option. This is not just accepting the first opportunity. In some cases, it may be the first opportunity. In some cases, it may not be. And that's where you get to have the time to really dedicate to being specific to what it is that you will accept in your life. You don't have to settle for anything less. You may be required to learn new skill sets. You may be required to change a lot of things about yourself to have that renewed version of yourself. This could be, many, many, many months it'll take you, or years even, it'll take you to become that ideal version of yourself. And if you have to learn along the way, accept certain work or certain stepping stones towards that main goal, it's never losing vision of that, what that goal is, and not allowing your integrity to be overstepped along the way. But what I'm hearing is that there's going to be a lot less steps that you'll have to get or go through, or skills, whatever skills you have to learn, you'll be able to learn them so much quicker than you think that it will take. Whatever time you think it'll take for you to experience this or receive this or invite this into your life, it'll take you so much time less than what you think. Again, if you get past whatever this thing that you haven't let go is. Once you let go of this thing in your past that you haven't let go, right? The thing that's been troubling you, it's been locking up your energy for some time. It's maybe giving you some doubt, some lack of confidence, some feelings of unworthiness or insecurity. But once you let go of this habit, this behavior, these people, this whatever it is in your life that you need to let go, you'll see that the clarity of that image of what it is that you're looking and seeking in your life will become so much clearer. And it will take you less time to get there, to receive there, to embody that, to become that version of yourself. Because then you start holding with authenticity. Holding yourself with authenticity and integrity. And as you become that version of yourself, you become a magnet to attract the things that resonate with that version of yourself. So again, there will be people that come along your way. There will be opportunities that come along your way that will say, hey, we want you to be with us. But just because the opportunity presents itself to you doesn't mean that that opportunity is in fact right for you. So that's where you have to do your due diligence to ensure that something that comes before you is actually something that will resonate with you. You don't have to accept everything in your life, the first thing that comes again. But you can do your research and ensure that these things truly align with your value systems, with your integrities, with who you see yourself as. And as you do this, you'll learn that this magnetism that you begin to have, it's going to be so attractive to so many people. Again, it'll be so attractive to so many people. I feel that you are here to empower so many different people, inspire so many different people, influence so many different people in profound ways, positive ways, astounding ways. Because the way you're going to come at it is from a humble place. You're going to give the respect, you're going to give the credit to the divine, to God, to the ethers from which all of this stuff comes from. Where we think the non-physical thoughts that we receive that are untangible, this realm around us that we think into existence. This is where we give the gratitude back. Thank it so much for giving us the inspirations, giving us the intuition to pursue certain paths and reject certain paths and certain people and certain habits, certain behaviors. And knowing that by doing so, you are strengthening your integrity. And you're also just preventing yourself from getting into these cycles of nonsense, of addiction, of drama, of just like lower vibrational states of being, like resentment and anger and frustration and worry and concern and poverty. So you'll continue to grow and seek out things that empower yourself. But the beautiful thing is that in order for this to stay in your life, to be stable in your life, it's a matter of you giving this back, giving what you're able to receive. In order for you to keep it, you have to give it away. So if you want to experience a life of contribution, of wealth, like true wealth, I'm hearing wealth in all areas of your life. Wealth in your finances, wealth in your health, wealth in your mindset, wealth in your relationships, wealth in your social life, wealth in your physical body, wealth all across the board. That's what genuine wealth is. You'll be able to start embodying this, feeling this, living in this way, the way you talk to people, supporting people, being very generous with your praise with people, very generous with your praise for people, not being harsh, not ridiculing, not criticizing, none of that stuff, because that's not wealthy. It's not a wealthy mindset, but encouraging, empowering, respecting, treating other people with integrity. You'll become someone that is here to lead many people, to whatever degree that is to you, in your community, within your friend groups, or even online. It could be within your state, your country, worldwide. But you have a message here to give by leading by example, becoming someone who has non-negotiables. Like, you're not going to take anything less than what it is that you know for a fact you deserve. Not because you're just, oh, I deserve this, but because you actually are a person who's developed the characteristics of someone who does deserve these things because of how you showed up in the world, because of what you've been able to contribute. Before we expect the world to give us whatever it is, our goals, our aspirations, and our dreams, we have to know exactly what it is that we're going to give in return for that thing. That's a requirement. That's the law. In order to receive, we have to give. There can't be any receiving without any giving. Contribution is a huge part of all of this. The value you add back to the flow of life, How much value can you add back to the flow of life? How many people's lives can you impact? How many people can you grow? How many people can you fertilize? How many people can you water? How many people can you help to achieve their dreams, their goals, their aspirations in life? How can you solve their problems? How can you help them become more empowered versions of themselves? Thinking in this way makes you a very wealthy person, because wealth isn't only for us. It isn't only for us. Again, it doesn't just touch our lives. It touches everybody's lives. Being someone who holds a wealthy energy is someone who's able to give that wealth away, because it can't just stay within you, because that wouldn't be wealth. It has to flow through, and it has to uplift everything around you, including the earth, animals, plants, trees, all this stuff that we exist in. That is genuine wealth. It's restoring not only minds, but also the world around us. Adds back in a way that grows and strengthens, empowers. This is what you're becoming. This is what you truly, truly, truly seek, because this is within your soul, within your spirit, within your divine being, within your divine essence. This is what you are. When we are raised up in a world where a lot of people think small, think about things that just serve themselves, think about individualism, consumerism, take, consume. What can we do for ourselves first before we do anything for anyone else? We'll live in a state of limitation, because we're just one person, but there's billions of people out there. So what can I do instead of for one person? What can I do for hundreds of thousands, millions of people out there? Whatever the amount is, how many people's lives can I affect? What ways can I do a certain amount of work and touch a maximum amount of people? Making sure that that work is quality work. Being able to do this makes you a very wealthy individual. And thinking in a way of being able to give, how the value I can add is going to get you closer to your goals, quicker to your goals than any other method. Being selfless is a magnet. It's a magnet for opportunities and people to recognize you as someone who has a generous heart. And God will treat you generously. God will treat you selflessly. God will give to you so much stuff. But the beautiful thing is that you'll be so focused on the adding value and the giving back and the upliftment and the fertilization of the world around you, that while you're receiving a lot of beautiful things and you fall into this life of yours, that you're able to create these beautiful, magnificent, fantastic things in your life. They won't be the primary focus. They're just going to be a byproduct of what your actual purpose is, what your actual calling is, what your actual creativity is. Empowering. Because then you can see everything around you flourish. And it's not just about you. It's not about how flourished your life is. But how can we flourish other people's lives? How can we make other people feel better about themselves? Uplift their lives, add value to their lives, so that they can do the same, passing on a blessing to others, that they can learn how to bless themselves and other people as well. Having a community of just blessing. Wanting good for everyone out there. That's a beautiful thing that you're coming into. And all of this, again, all of this is just a result of the surrender process, of surrendering from whatever it is that is keeping us bound to our current circumstances, our current life. Letting that go. Stop thinking about ourselves so much, right? And our problems and our habits and our addictions and all that stuff. And be like, this is taking up so much energy. It's robbing us from actually being able to be contributive to the world, valuable to the world. And if we exchange that habit or that person or that thing that's holding us back, we allow ourselves to be an open gateway to allow the flow through to touch the world around us and add value to the world around us, to fertilize the world around us. And we have to be fertilized in the process. It's just what has to happen. You're going to receive everything that you want in life. The money, the relationships, the material security, the emotional security, the mental security, the physical security, the respect, the admiration. It just has to come. Maybe you're not someone who's as comfortable with these things because maybe you haven't experienced them before. Or maybe the people around you that you've grown up with or been around most of your life, they haven't experienced these things. And that's okay. Because you're meant to be an example of what happens to an individual who begins to add value back to the world, give back to the world, contribute back to the world, be an asset rather than a liability, who leads people down a path of honesty and discipline and respectability and away from these lower things of troubles and tribulations and hardships and sacrifice and sadness and remorse and guilt and shame and all that stuff. If you're going through something that makes you feel these lower vibrational states, if you're at a workplace and you feel devalued, or you're in a relationship you feel devalued, or you have some kind of habit or behavior that's devaluing yourself, then again, surrender to that thing. Be like, okay, you got me, but you're no longer going to get me anymore because you don't have to participate. You don't have to participate in that. You don't have to choose that. You have the power to choose whatever it is that you like. Let go of that thing, that person, that place, that habit. Why keep it? Why keep it? If it's not serving you, it's not serving you. You're meant to be empowered. You're meant to be someone who is driven with love, with a love for the life that you live. Waking up in the morning, invigorated, excited, impassioned. Out there to help as many people as you can change the world in whatever way that you can every day. Starting from whatever you have right now. It's like you don't have to have where you're going to be, the things that you're going to have whenever you get there. Now, you don't have to have it now. Just start with what you have. Start with what you have. Because within you, you have this creative nature within you from the moment you were born and right now and until the day you leave this earth. You're going to have this thing within you that you can start at any point in your life, at any time of the day, to begin creating from a place that channels in this information, channels in this inspiration to do better acts in this world, treat people and the land and this earth in a better way, animals, plants, all creatures in a better way, because everything innately within it is divine, beautiful. Seeing the world through eyes of how powerful everything is, how significant everything is, how valuable everything is, gives you a valuable experience with life. Why would you not want to fertilize that? Because by fertilizing that, it only helps it all grow. It all grow. And the more growth that you're able to allow happen in your life, the more empowered you become. The more empowered you become, the more influence you have. The more influence you have, the greater reach you can reach, the greater deeds you can do, and the more people that are helped. And the more people that are helped, the more value you add to the world. God has to give to you because you become a conduit of doing good on this world. Having the responsibility, then it becomes a mean of responsibility. You're held responsible for more. You receive more. You're given more. Because you show yourself to be a responsible person. Start with what you have. Be responsible with what you have. Give away what you have. How you have the ability to do so right now. Work at that you become a valuable person. You'll be given more to give back. You give more seeds to plant the harvest. Then you allow that harvest to be cultivated. And you do the same thing and you repeat. You invest into other people. You invest into other people. And it just allows the world to become even a little bit of a better place at first. Just a little bit. And a little bit more. 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 Having the flow of wealth in your life. We're able to just give in such profound ways. How you speak, how you talk, encouraging other people, inspiring other people, motivating other people. So that way they can look at their own lives from a different perspective. So they can let go of their own habits, their own behaviors, their own addictions, their own patterns. And they renew their minds. And they become conduits themselves for this power, this information, this intuition, to do the same, to add back to the world, to improve the lives of others and the world around them. It's living a life from a bigger place, a more profound place. Let go of whatever that thing is that's in your life right now, because again, it can't come with you. It's limiting. It's limiting. It keeps you bound to yourself. Because that thing, that addiction, that person, that situation in your life is keeping you locked up within your own mind, within your own energy, thinking about the self so much. And then once that's removed, once that's let go, however long it takes for you to finally transition from that. You may have to grieve that person or that habit, that behavior, that old version of yourself. Thank it for the time that it spent with you. But be very firm in letting it know that it can't come with you. It's not allowed with you. Because the version of yourself that you're becoming doesn't exist in that place, with that person, with that habit, with that behavior, with that thing. But the person you are to become is going to be so much more effective, influential, and purposeful. So many beautiful things are going to come to your life as a result of this. And you'll see on the other side of this, but God, why didn't I change sooner? And it's okay that you didn't change sooner. We're ready when we're ready. But we don't have to delay the gratification that we will receive from living a life that is in alignment with our authenticity and empowerment of others. You're on this path for a reason. You're listening to this message for a reason. You're meant to follow this for a reason. It could be as easy as you let it be. As easy as you let it be. As a matter of fact, this is the easier option. Letting go of that thing, surrendering to that thing is the easier option. Staying in it, oh my God, that's the difficult part. Staying in it is where all the troubles are coming from. That's where all the sadness and the anger and the frustration, the resentment, the shame, the guilt, the pain, it's all because we're holding on to this old thing. That's the hard way to live. Like, easier way to live is just making the change and letting go and surrendering to it and be like, I'm done. That's the easiest thing you could do. It's the easier option. Take the easier option, because this easier option is supposed to make you feel good. You're meant to feel good if you choose to feel good. And it just makes more sense to feel good than remain in all that turmoil. Adding value to people's lives. Add value to people's lives. Give back to this flow of life, the stream of life. And you will be rewarded. You will be rewarded. Be gentle with yourself along this way. This isn't a see how quickly you can surrender and let go and change and all this stuff. It's allowing yourself to make sure that we don't have to do it again, right? We don't have to do it again. So being kind to ourselves, allowing ourselves for however long it takes. It doesn't have to take long. It doesn't have to take long. But endeavoring just to start today, to doing what it is that we can do today, with what energy we have, with what emotional state we're in. To let go of the past and recognizing that the past can't come with us. That thing that is holding us back, if it doesn't feel good, if it's leading to suffering and pain and heartbreak, it's not meant to come into the new life, because the new life doesn't have that within it. The experiences of the past are just the experiences of the past, but they don't have to hold an emotional space within us. And they won't hold an emotional space within you once you get to this next place. You don't have to feel enlivened and invigorated and passionate and excited and all this stuff right now. You don't have to. You are where you are, and that's perfectly fine. But you will. You will. You will. You'll begin to add more value to people's lives, to the world. That will give you more value, more responsibility, but beautiful responsibility. And you realize that you then become deserving of that responsibility because it's going into the right hands, because your hands are able to create so much magnificent things, so many magnificent things in this world. You're a beautiful person. You're meant to feel free. Live in your authenticity. Discover that authenticity for yourself. Inspire, encourage, empower other people. Hold your integrity. Don't let anyone overstep those boundaries. And it doesn't have to be something that is said viciously. You don't have to hold your boundaries in a harsh way. Like a no is a no. You don't have to participate in any game, whether that game is something that you create in your own mind, in your own head, or someone else's game that they create in their own mind, in their own head. You don't have to be a participant in it. It's as simple as that. And that's how you walk away with integrity, choosing your battles And I don't even want to say battles in a difficult way, because it's not meant to be difficult. As a matter of fact, you're not going to choose any of the battles. Most of these battles you're not even going to choose, because it's not meant to be conflict in your life. Matter of fact, you're more of a peacemaker. You're someone who you'll pick battles to bring peace to the battles. That way the wars end. Those are the battles that you'll pick. But you'll understand too that not all battles are yours to show up as the peacemaker in. But there are ones that need your insight. They need your words. They need your perspective. And easily you'll bring peace to so many troubles. This could be other people's battles, figuratively speaking, other people who are battling within themselves. Your words, your actions, your creations will show up in someone else's lives and alleviate their battles. Bring peace to their wars within their heads, between other people. And peace and harmony will abound in their lives, in the right people's lives. You're here to experience so much massive abundance in your life. So much massive abundance in your life. You're so beneficial. So beneficial. The world is meant to hear what it is that you have to say. The world is meant to experience the things that you're here to bring. So allow yourself to let go of what it is you need to let go. Grieve the old self, the old habits, the old relationships, the old circumstances. They're not coming with you. They're not meant to come with you. But you're going to be blessed. There's a table being prepared for you right now. The invitations have already been sent to all the people who are meant to show up. And that old thing that you're letting go cannot come. It didn't get an invitation. And it's recognizing that. It didn't get an invitation. You can't give the invitation because you didn't set up the table. God did that. God set out the invitations to the right people. And that's okay. You're not a bad person for not being able to invite everybody, but not everybody is on the same timeline as you, path as you. Not everyone wants to believe the same things that you're here to give to the world, and that's okay too. But the right people will hear. The right people will be inspired. The right people will listen and grow and be fertilized. That's what's important. You're here to serve the right people, not all people, the right people. So, thank you for listening as always. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll catch you here in the next one.